This is Cheyenne Valentine back today again with a new episode. In today's episode, I want to address a comment that was made. And it was about women being a loser for being single. Now, someone made this comment underneath my comment section. They have removed the comment now. And that's fine. But even though they have removed the comment, I'm going to still address it because I'm glad they made the comment, because I know that society, men and women, shame women for being single. And they made this comment underneath a video I had called What Singleness Means to Me. And they literally said that a woman, this is a male, he said that women are losers for being single because a woman can get a relationship easy. This is the same man who said that women prefer sex and men prefer commitment. So I already addressed that statement in a previous video. But let's get into women are losers for being single. Being single just means you're not in a committed relationship and you are not married. Okay. Now, we're gonna use his same logic, because we're not gonna jump subjects. And I know I do that in my videos because I'm really detailed and I talk a lot. But I'm not gonna talk about, oh, this makes a guy a loser and that makes a guy a loser. No, we're gonna stick to this topic. So I'm going to debunk what he just said, the comment he made. And it's no need for anyone to get upset about him saying that, because that's why I made that video about what singleness means to me, because I know women suffer from feeling low and devalued for being single, because men and other women make them feel like that. Society treats women like this. And why it is stupid to me is because everyone knows that it's harder for a woman to get a relationship and to get married. And everyone knows it's easy for a woman to get sex, but women prefer the commitment. And sex is included in a commitment, but women prefer the whole shebang. You know, the going on dates, the talking, the emotional support, the marriage, the children, just having someone to do things with. And, you know, the sex comes with that. So women like the whole shebang. Men, they'll get into a relationship if it comes along, if they're ready. But first they have to be ready for it. They have to want it. And they're perfectly fine with just being single and just having a lot of different attractive women to have sex with. I mean, they'll be content with that. Now, a lot of times if they get into a relationship, if it comes about, fine. If not, they're not pressed about it. I think it's part of the reason they're very sex focused. That's one reason. The second reason is society does not shame them for being single, so they don't feel a need to jump into a relationship. And also, when they do get into a relationship, if it's not working out, have you noticed if a relationship is not working out with a guy, he moves on quickly, or he'll break up with you quickly or move on because he's not validated by being in a relationship. A relationship doesn't define him, because society does not make him feel bad about being single, but they do that to us. So I'm about to break this down. Saying it is false. What this dude said, that once again, that a woman is a loser for being single because women can get into relationships easily, which is a bold-faced lie. We can get sex easy, but we're not being offered relationships and commitment and marriage easily. Like, men are not walking around with wedding rings in their pocket just chasing women down saying, please marry me. They're not doing it. They're chasing women down with their penis. They're trying to bust nuts. Okay, they're not chasing women down to marry them, okay, or to get into a relationship. They're sex focused first. Their mind is on sex. They're chasing women for sex. Now, if they have sex with women regularly and they start liking her, and if the guy is ready for a relationship, I said if he's ready, he might consider giving her one. But he's not chasing women down to get into committed, monogamous, long-term relationships. That is a goddamn lie. So saying that a woman is a loser for not having a husband or not being in a relationship is essentially like saying a man is a loser for not being able to get sex from any woman he wants. And let me elaborate. When I say get sex from whomever he wants, that's like saying if a man cannot walk up to random women and say, look, you are beautiful, I'm not looking for a relationship, I just want to get laid right now, come back to the hotel with me. If he cannot do that and get the vagina without her slapping him, that he's a loser. That's like me saying that that's like me saying, men, if you cannot walk out and approach 100 women, and if 90 of those women don't give you sex, then you're a loser. You should be able, men, to walk up to 100 women and 90 of them should be able to give you sex. In addition, you should be able to walk up to those 100 women and the 90 women should be able to go to the hotel with you, give you sex, unattached sex. You should be able to tell her, look, I don't want to be in a relationship. I think you're pretty. I just want to get laid. Come to the hotel with me. You're sexy. You should be able to do that and get the sex. And if you can't, you're a loser. That's what you're saying. If you're saying that a woman's a loser for not being able to get into a relationship because she can get one easy, which is a lie. That's like me saying that you're a loser for not being able to get sex easy. But see, men, I would never do that to you because I know the truth. I know it's not easy for a man to get sex easy. Okay, I know that. So I would never do that to you and shame you for not being able to get something that's hard to get. Basically, a woman is not a loser for being single. She's not a loser for being single because how can she be a loser for not having something that she cannot get easily? How can she be a loser for not getting something from a person who's not trying to give it to her regularly or who's now willy-nilly giving it out? Men are not running around offering committed relationships and marriage regularly. Do you know how many women have broke up with their boyfriend for not marrying them? Because that's the ultimate commitment, marriage. How many? Oh my God, you know how many women I know that were quote unquote I'm gonna use a curse word, fuck friends with a guy, and I know a woman right now who is like madly in love with this one guy. They were having intercourse and he told her, look, I just want to be friends, but he still wants to have sex with her. So he's just using her for sex at this point. He flat out told her, I don't want to be in a relationship, but he's still using her for sex. Then she told me he's 6'6" with long dreads and attractive. I'm thinking to myself, honey, I didn't tell her, and he's 26. I'm like, you're gonna have some problems with him. He sounds like he's attractive, 6'6", long dreads, and you saying he got a cool personality. She said he doesn't have any kids. 26, he's still young. I'm thinking to myself, you're gonna have problems with him. And she's very pretty. The problem is that he has probably other options of women he can sleep with. Okay, and he's also probably not right now ready for a relationship. But women in their late 20s usually are ready for a relationship. Men in their late 20s, it's a toss up. Like you know. And then the more attractive the guy is, the more women that he can pull. A lot of times men are only as faithful as their options. Okay, so that's why she's having problems with him and he's not gonna get a relationship. As pretty as she is, he can get other women who are pretty and he's still young. He's not. And then a lot of men are encouraged to play the field and not commit. On top of a lot of them naturally don't want to commit. A lot of them just naturally want to go around busting nuts and having sex. Like they're not really chasing a relationship, they're chasing sex. So a woman cannot be a loser, ladies, and don't get upset about him saying this, because see, I'm glad he made this comment because that's why I made that video. I know what women go through. It's women who cry themselves to sleep at night because they're single, because their parents are asking them, oh, when are you gonna get a boyfriend, when are you gonna get married, when are you gonna have kids? Okay, I know what women go through. I'm a woman. And a lot of this, naturally women want commitment anyway, but then it's amplified when you have society, men and other women telling you, oh, you're a loser because you're single. How are you a loser for not having something that the other gender is not willing to give you? Okay, first of all, the reason why the man proposes to a woman or offers the relationship and the woman doesn't do it, because the women are usually already down for a relationship. The woman is already usually down for getting married. The man is the one that's holding back. He's the one that's apprehensive. He's the one that's usually not ready. So the reason why he proposes, for one, let's talk about marriage, is because he's supposed to provide and protect for her. Essentially, when you get married, everyone is not going to have kids, but if they want to have kids, the woman carries the child and she usually wants to stay at home and raise the kids. So he's supposed to provide and protect for her and the child. Okay, so since that's a responsibility on him, he has to decide if he wants to marry this woman or if he wants to get married at all. So that's why you wait for the guy to propose to you. Okay, also he's usually the one that's more apprehensive about getting into a committed relationship and getting married. That's a big step. So the woman's already usually ready for all that. She's already wanting to get married and take it to the next level. He's the one that's apprehensive and don't want to do it, because number one, he's supposed to be to provide and protect, and number two, a lot of times they just want sex. They're not looking for something that's serious. Okay, so that's why it doesn't work for a woman to ask the guy to be her boyfriend, or a lot of times it doesn't work to ask the guy to marry you because, yeah, you're ready, but he's not. So to tell a woman that she's a loser for being single and not having a husband or a boyfriend, how can she be a loser for that when that's out of her control? She cannot control if someone asks her to marry them. The guy proposes to the woman, and that should work, and it should be like that because he's the one that's usually supposed to be the provider and protector, and he's the one that he's the one in a situation that usually doesn't want a committed relationship. So he has to be ready. Does that make sense? So how is she a loser for not having something that a person doesn't want to give her? Okay? Now, I'm finna flip it. A woman could be considered a loser for not being able to have sex with most of the men she have approached for sex. So I'm gonna give you an example. If a woman approached 100 men and 90% of them, maybe 99% of them said no to her, if she approached 100 men and she said, I want to have sex with you, come to the hotel with me right now, and 99 of them or 95 of them said no, she will probably be considered a loser. Why? Because sex is easy for a woman to get from a guy. Why? Because men are giving that out more willingly. Men are offering sex way more than they ever will offer a relationship or marriage. They're chasing women down to get sex from them, not to give them a ring, commitment, provide and protect, and be their husband. They're not chasing women down for that. Men are more selective as to who they marry and get into a relationship with. They're not as selective as to who they have sex with. You might ask why. Well, first of all, I'm not a man, so I can't definitely say why, but from my understanding from talking to men, being around men, like in real life, not men on YouTube, men in real life, men have a strong urge to release their sperm. Okay, so essentially their mind is on basically busting nuts. They might masturbate a lot, they might look at pornography, but after a while that's not good enough. They want to go inside of a hot, wet, tight vagina and bust their nut in. They don't want it. I know I'm getting kind of graphic, but they, going to the strip club, blah, 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 watch pornography, jagging off, that's cool. But, they want to get inside some wet vagina. So with men, they approach women because they want to have sex. Their mind is on sex when they're approaching women. Their mind is not on, I want to get into a relationship with her so bad, oh my God, I want to marry her, oh my God. Now, ladies, I know you ladies have ran into a guy who said, I would love to marry you. They're just saying that, okay? Yeah, they're saying that based on how you look. So if you're really pretty, they might say that to you. Yeah, they'll say that, but do they mean it? I mean, they just saying it. They just saying, that's their way of saying they think that you're really pretty and that you're somebody they could see themselves possibly settling down with, but they're just throwing it out. The main objective is getting your pants, okay? And most women don't have men say that to them regularly. They'll have some men that say, well, I love to marry you, but usually men don't say that within the first 30 minutes of meeting you. Their mind is on sex, okay? The only man I've met who actually said that to me within meeting me within an hour was a man who was in his 50s. Now I'm 34. He's in his 50s. So like I said, with older men, they like younger women who are younger than them. And when they get around 50 or late 50s, I guess that's when they're trying to settle down or something. I don't know. So he made that comment to me. Or no, I think he told his mom. I forgot how it went. But yeah. He made that comment towards me. I'm looking at him like, I don't even know you. Go away. But I honestly have not met a man my age who just came up to me and said, you'll be like I would love to marry you. I have never met a man my age who said that. Because that's not what their mind is on. Okay. So it seems like when they're younger, they're just trying to run through a lot of different women, bust nuts, and then they get older and they just, I guess when they sex drive might drop a little bit when they're older and they need Viagra, or they just tired of running the streets. Then they want to get one woman and settle down with her, but they want to get the prettiest one they can find. When they didn't ran through all these women, I feel that's unfair to women, what they doing, but it is what it is. But from my understanding, like I said, men have a strong desire to release sperm, and so as more time goes, their standards get lower. So what do I mean? When men first go out, they see a really pretty woman, they'll shoot. And I heard men tell me this. This is not coming from me. This is coming from men. They would shoot for really pretty women. But they have learned that, I guess, really pretty women are a little bit more harder to get. They're not as quickly to give you sex. You might got to take them on dates. So I've heard men say they'll shoot for women who are maybe average looking or what they consider not that pretty. because they feel like she's more approachable. I always hear men say, I like going up to women who are approachable, because men don't like, nobody likes rejection. So a lot of times men approach women who they will approach a woman who comes off as approachable. Approachable just means that they feel that she would be easier to jump in, that she would not turn them down, and they don't want to get turned down, and they want her to give him sex quickly. And so because of that, they would shoot. Put it like this, you know, when you're hungry, the longer you go without food, the more the craving is, and then maybe the first hour you're a little bit hungry, and the second hour you get even more hungry. After like 10 hours of not eating, you don't care kind of what you eat, you just want a lot of food, and it don't matter. Like maybe at first you wanted to go to Red Lobster or something, Ruth's Chris, but Ruth Chris. Wait a minute, is it Ruth Chris? I don't know. Anyway, at first you wanted to go to, basically first you wanted to go to a 5-star restaurant, right? Red Lobster's not 5-star, but then the more hungry you get, you end up saying, screw it, just give me some McDonald's. That's kind of how it is with some men. The longer they go without sex, meaning intercourse with a woman, they can jag off and all that, but the lower their standards get, because they're getting more and more horny, and they want to release inside of a woman. Inside of a hot, wet type vagina, right? So at first their approach is the really attractive women, and those women aren't really, you know, trying to give it up. So they'll go after what they call low-hanging fruit, women who they feel won't say no because she's not as quote unquote as attractive, and so they feel that she'll give it, you know, she'll give them the vagina quicker and easier. Okay, they'll go after what they call easy kills. Okay, now because of this, I'm getting to a point. Because a lot of men have this mentality, and they just out trying to bust nuts and release. Okay. The women the woman they have sex with does not have to be of the same caliber as the woman they might marry or get into a relationship with. She doesn't have to be. Haven't you, I'm going to use a curse word, haven't you heard about men saying a woman who's fuckable? A lot of women are fuckable to men, because it's just a hole they're trying to enter. They're not taking these women serious. They're just trying to release nuts, okay, bust nuts and get an orgasm. They're not thinking about family, long term, and all that. They're chasing women to bust nuts, okay. That is what I'm sorry, I don't mean to be graphic, but that's what their mind is on. So a woman would be considered a loser if she couldn't get a dude to mount her, because a man would down there mount any woman, a heterosexual man, because he's just trying to release. He's not thinking past that moment of releasing, okay. So if a woman couldn't get, like if she approached 100 men for sex, and if 99 or 95 of them said no, then you'll say, okay, what's wrong with you? I mean, it's easy to get sex from a guy. So then she will be considered quote unquote a loser. But she cannot be a loser for being single and not being able to get any man she wanted into a relationship, or any man she wanted to propose to her, because that's the man determines if he wants to marry her. That's based upon what he wants to give. And also, men are not easily giving out relationships and commitment. They're not doing that. Women are more prone to get into relationships. Women want commitment more than men. Men want sex. This is a fact. I'm not making this up, and everybody knows this. But this individual don't know this. I guess he just, you know, sit on YouTube all day. He don't talk to people in real life. He's not around. He doesn't deal with society. I don't know. But I think the reason why he's doing this, because we all know the truth. We all know that a woman is not a loser for being single. It's impossible, because that's like saying a man is a loser for not getting sex from any woman he wants. We know men cannot get sex easily from any woman he wants. Hell no. And we know women cannot get any man she wants. Just walk up to any man and say, be my boyfriend, or marry me. It doesn't work. Men are not chasing women down to marry them and commit to them. So you cannot be a loser for something that you cannot get easily. You can only be a loser for something that you can get easily. That the person's willing, that people just giving out like candy, and you can, like, so basically men are giving sex out like candy. And so if a woman says she can't get sex from a guy, that's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Men will screw anybody. How can you not get sex from men? Everybody knows you might can't get love from a guy sometimes. You might can't get companionship from a guy sometimes, but you definitely can get sex from him. Everybody knows this. Men are very reluctant to turn down sex. They're chasing women for sex, and even if they're in a relationship and you approach them for sex, they're very likely to cheat on their significant other to sleep with you. Okay, we know this. So ladies, you might say, why would a man try to shame a woman for being single when he knows it's hard for women to get into relationships? So she cannot be a loser for something that's hard for her to get. It's because, number one, he wants to put fear in you women. to choose him. So you notice when men say that black women's standards are too low or too high, and they say you need to pick the man in the middle, he's usually the guy in the middle. See, the men just want to get picked for sex. Okay, if a man can sleep with, you don't see any NBA players complain about not getting sex from women on YouTube. You want to know why? Because they can get sex from any woman they want, and they can get it from beautiful women. It's only the men that cannot get the sex from all the women they want that complain. So they want you to choose them, ladies. So put it like this: if you hear a guy saying, "Oh, you black women only choose thugs and bombs and car thieves," he's probably not a thug, a bomb, or a car thief. So whatever man you choose, if it wasn't him, he's gonna get upset. How do I know this? Men have told me this is how men operate. I'm not making this up. They just want you to choose them. So whatever guy you was to choose, I don't care if you choose a midget, they'll say you should stop choosing midgets and you should choose regular size guys because he's a regular size guy. Men, whoever you choose, women, they're gonna complain about the guy you chose because he was not the one you chose. And it's not even about you just choosing him in particular. If you're not choosing men that he identify with, he's gonna be upset because he feels like, okay, if men that I'm like are not getting chose, that means I'm, by default, I'm not gonna get chose. I'm in a batch with them. Does that make sense what I'm saying? It's just like as a black woman, if a lot of people say they don't like black women or they don't want to date black women, it might offend you because you're like, okay, I'm a black woman. That means that I'm gonna get thrown in a batch with the other black women and not get chose, and that's not fair. So if a guy says, oh, you women are gold diggers for going with millionaires and rich men, and you're a gold digger for one that got to be a provider, he's usually not financially stable. Okay, because if women were wanting to choose men like him, he wouldn't have no complaints about it. Also with these men, most men are able to get at least one woman to have sex with them, but that's not good enough because the men that are complaining on YouTube, the woman that is offering them sex, they don't want, men like getting sex from a variety of different beautiful women. So the woman that they can get into the bed, they don't really want her. They don't probably find her all that attractive, and they just got with her because they got desperate and they just, okay, they just started throwing the target at all types of women, and they just took the sex from whoever was offering it, whoever they could get it from. But they really want to get sex from a lot of beautiful, attractive women. Because most men can get sex from at least one woman, but they're still on YouTube complaining. Okay, so this is why they shame you about being single, because they want to put fear in you to change your standards. So if they say, oh, you only want thugs, bombs, and car thieves, and that's why you keep going after bad men, that's why you're gonna end up single. That's why you're single. That's why you're gonna end up alone. That's fear. That's a fear tactic. Okay, that's a fear that they put in you to get you to choose them, to get you to not want to be single. Because if you have a fear of being single, when a man comes to you with garbage, with mediocrity, you would accept it because you have a fear of being single. Men don't have a fear of being single, so they're not just going to accept anything. They're not going to just accept any type of woman coming to them with anything. Okay. Now, another reason they put fear in you is because about being single is because they know it's hard to get men into relationships. They know it is. They know that a lot of men do not want to, a lot of men are not quick to commit. A lot of men are not chasing women down for relationships and marriage. And they know that is something that's hard for women to get, and they know women want that. So that's a sore spot for women. So that's why they said it. They say that to hurt your feelings. They say that you're a loser for that because they know that's something that's hard for you to get. That's like me saying to men, you're a loser for not being a millionaire. That's a sore spot for most men because most people are not a millionaire. And while most people would love to be, men are judged more harshly on what they bring to the table financially. So if I say to a man, you are a loser for not being a millionaire, it's going to hurt his feelings because, first of all, y'all, it's hard to become a millionaire. It's not easy. Okay, so why would I say he's a loser for not being a millionaire when I know it's hard to become a millionaire? I would say that to him to hurt his feelings because him and I both know he is judged on his income. As a male, he's judged because he's supposed to be the provider. So ladies, that's why these men are saying this to you, to try to hurt your feelings, because they know it's a sore spot, because they know it's harder for you to get that, and it's just hurt your feelings. They don't really believe that you're a loser for being single, and they do not believe that you can get into a relationship easily. They know you can't. Okay. And because they know you can't, that's why they're gonna call you a loser for not being in one, because they're trying to, it's a sore spot for some women who fall into it. They know women want relationships. It's kind of like when you want something really bad and you can't have it, or it's hard to get. That's gonna hurt your feelings. You salty about it. You know, you're upset about it. And it's just like if I said to men, you're a loser for not being a millionaire, and you also a loser for not being able to get sex from any woman you want. That would be me being that would be me knowing, like, I know that it's hard for men to get sex from any woman they want. So I would not say that to them unless I was trying to hurt their feelings and trying to hit on a sore spot, because men love sex, and men love unattached sex from a variety of beautiful women, and it's very hard for them to get, especially if they not like an NBA player or something like that. So for me to say that to them, that's just me poking at them, trying to get them upset, because I know it's something they truly desire really, really bad, and it's hard for them to get it. It's not that I really believe he's a loser for not getting sex from any woman he wants. I know that that's a sore spot, because I'm not gonna lie, I have done it to some men in my comment section and said certain things about sex, and I know that's a sore spot, and they'll try to hit below the belt, and I'll laugh because I know sex is a sore spot for them. Or I say things like, you're just jealous of the thugs and bombs because they're getting they're getting all the women, they're getting all the sex they want. And I'll say stuff like, well, the men who's getting all the thugs and bombs, and car thieves, who you claim all the women are depicting, I said they're not on YouTube complaining because they're too busy having sex with all the women that want to have sex with them, and then the dude to snap, because see, that's a sore spot for him. You see what I'm saying? So, ladies, this is just the only reason they're lying and saying that we're losers, women are losers for being single, is because they know a lot of women want to be in relationships. They know it's harder for women to get relationships, and they want you to change your standards to basically be where they're at. So if they're the average guy, they're gonna talk trash about rich men and thugs, bombs, and car thieves. Okay, if he's a rich guy, he's gonna talk trash about average guys and low lifes, which are the thugs and bombs. If he's a thug and bomb, he's gonna talk trash about the average guy and the guy with money, which is the upper class guy, because they just want to get chosen for sex, and they're gonna bash any man that you choose that's not them. Okay, so I just debunked that women are a loser for being single. If a woman's a loser for being single, then you men are a loser for not getting sex from all the women that you want to get it from.